Porn made me do it. My cheating confession. House felt cold. Not temperature-wise, Sarah always kept it a comfortable 72 but empty. It echoed even when I just walked from the kitchen to the living room. 12 years and it had come to this. Sarah had been working late again, or at least that's what she said. Lately, working late had become her default setting. It used to bother me, the long hours. Now I almost welcomed the silence, gave me permission. It started innocently enough. A quick peek at lunchtime, just to unwind. A few clicks, some scrolling. Harmless, I told myself, just release. Sarah and I hadn't been intimate regularly for months. Blame it on her career, blame it on stress, blame it on me, I guess. It felt like we were roommates, not lovers. But the quick peeks became longer sessions. Harmless turned into not so harmless. The vanilla stuff morphed into something harder, something darker. The kind of stuff that messes with your head, the kind that makes you think your wife isn't enough. And that's a fucked up thing to admit. I hated myself for it. Every time I closed my laptop, I felt a wave of shame wash over me. But the urge, it was always there. Like a low hum in the background, constantly reminding me of what I wasn't getting. What I thought I wasn't getting. Then Olivia started. New intern at the firm. Fresh out of architecture school, bright-eyed, eager to learn. She hung on my every word, asked insightful questions. It was nice. Sarah hadn't looked at me like that in years. We worked closely on a new project, a community center downtown. Long hours, late nights. Just work, I told myself, professional. But the air crackled with something else, something I couldn't deny. David, my best friend since college, saw it coming a mile away. Dude, you're starving. You're gonna eat whatever's put in front of you. His advice was never subtle or particularly helpful. She's just an intern, Mark. Don't be an idiot, he'd said, puffing on a cigar sitting on my porch. He was right. But the thought of Olivia, it was like a drug, a distraction from the hollow feeling inside. One evening, we were reviewing blueprints late. Olivia was sitting close, her shoulder brushing mine as she pointed out a flaw in the design. Her hair smelled like vanilla. My heart hammered in my chest. You're amazing, Mark, she said softly. I've learned so much from you. That was it. The dam broke. I pulled back slightly, searching her eyes. Olivia, she didn't say anything, just looked at me with those wide, innocent eyes. I leaned in and kissed her. The guilt was immediate, like a punch to the gut, but there was also a thrill, a forbidden pleasure. We pulled apart, breathless. I shouldn't have done that, I stammered. Olivia looked confused, hurt. I thought you felt it too, and I did. God, I did. That kiss was the beginning of the end. The next few weeks were a blur. Secret lunches, stolen glances, late-night texts. The tension at home with Sarah grew thicker, more suffocating. We barely spoke. When we did, it was strained, polite, like we were strangers sharing a space. Olivia and I danced around the inevitable for a while, both of us knowing where it was headed. Then one night, after a particularly stressful meeting with Mr. Thompson, the senior partner, I found myself at a bar with Olivia. One drink turned into two, then three. We talked about everything, about our dreams, our fears, our frustrations. I feel so stuck, Olivia, I confessed, like I'm just going through the motions. She reached across the table and took my hand. I know you're capable of so much more, Mark. Her touch sent a jolt through me. We ended up back at her apartment. One thing led to another. The sex was intense, passionate. But even in the heat of the moment, the guilt gnawed at me. I kept seeing Sarah's face, her hurt eyes. The next morning, I woke up with a hangover and a profound sense of shame. I knew I had crossed a line. I couldn't take it back. I tried to act normal around Sarah, but she saw right through me. Her lawyer radar was sharper than I gave her credit for. She started asking questions, subtle at first, then more direct. One evening, I came home to find her sitting at the kitchen table, a cold, hard look in her eyes. Where were you last night, Mark? She asked. I froze. Nowhere, just out with David. She didn't say anything, just slid a piece of paper across the table. It was a hotel receipt. My name was on it. My heart sank. I was caught. Who is she, Mark? Sarah's voice was dangerously calm. I couldn't lie, not anymore. The guilt was too much to bear. Her name is Olivia, I whispered. She's an intern at the firm. Sarah's face crumpled. Tears welled up in her eyes. How could you, Mark? How could you do this to us? I tried to explain, to justify my actions. I told her about the porn, about the loneliness, about feeling invisible. I blamed everything but myself. It's not you, Sarah, I said pathetically. It's me. I'm broken. She didn't buy it. Don't you dare try to make this my fault, Mark. You made a choice. You betrayed me. I knew she was right. She packed a bag that night and left. The house felt even colder, even emptier. Olivia was shocked when I told her Sarah knew. She hadn't expected it to go this far. I can't do this, Mark, she said, her voice trembling. I'm not a homewrecker. I never wanted to hurt anyone. She ended things just like that. I was alone, completely and utterly alone. I started seeing a therapist, doctor. Klein was a kind, patient woman who listened without judgment. She helped me unpack my issues, my insecurities, my addiction. Your pornography use is a symptom, Mark, not the cause, she said gently. You're using it to escape, to avoid dealing with your feelings. She was right. I was using porn as a crutch, a way to numb the pain. Therapy was hard. It forced me to confront my demons, to take responsibility for my actions. I realized I had been blaming Sarah for my own shortcomings, for my own inability to communicate my needs. I started attending meetings for sex addicts. It was a humbling experience, sitting in a room full of men who had made the same mistakes as me. Men who had lost their families, their careers, their self-respect. I called Sarah every day, begging her to forgive me. She wouldn't answer. I sent flowers, wrote letters. Nothing. One day she finally agreed to meet me for coffee. I was a nervous wreck. She looked tired, but also stronger, more independent. I don't know if I can ever forgive you, Mark, she said, her voice flat. You broke something inside me, something I don't know if I can ever fix. I nodded, tears streaming down my face. I understand. I deserve it. But she hesitated. I'm willing to consider couples therapy, if you're serious about changing, if you're willing to work for it. It was a lifeline, a glimmer of hope. We started therapy together. It was painful, dredging up all the hurt and resentment. But we were also learning to communicate again, to listen to each other. One evening, after a particularly difficult session, Sarah reached out and took my hand. I miss you, Mark, she said softly. I miss us. It wasn't a promise, but it was a start. Olivia moved to another city. I heard she was doing well, thriving in her career. I never contacted her again. The road to recovery is long and arduous. I still struggle with the urge to relapse, to escape into the fantasy world of pornography. But I'm learning to cope, to find healthier ways to deal with my emotions. Sarah and I are still in therapy. We're taking things one day at a time. I don't know if we'll ever be the same, but I'm committed to trying, to rebuilding our trust, our love. The other day, I was cleaning out my laptop and came across my porn history. I deleted it all, every last trace. It was a small act, but it felt significant, like I was finally letting go of the past, embracing the future. I still feel the guilt, the shame. I don't think those feelings will ever completely disappear, but I'm learning to live with them, to use them as a reminder of the consequences of my choices. The house doesn't feel quite as cold anymore. There's still an echo, but it's a different kind of echo, an echo of hope. Whether that hope is enough remains to be seen. A few months later, I came home to find Sarah staring at her phone, her face pale. There's something I need to tell you, she said, her voice barely a whisper. She looked up, her eyes filled with a pain that mirrored my own from so long ago. While we were separated, I wasn't entirely alone either. The air in the room turned heavy, thick with unspoken words. The progress we had made, the fragile trust we were rebuilding felt like it was crumbling around me. The echo in the house was back, louder than ever, resonating with the shattering sound of broken vows. The tables had turned. I didn't know what to say, what to do. The hypocrisy of my anger choked me. I had opened Pandora's box, and now we were both paying the price.